Yes, people, welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well and welcome along to another latest news and transfer story. Make sure you smash the like on this video. Can we aim for 75 likes? Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new on the road to 15k. But most importantly, damn, the comments. There's so much to talk about tonight. So much to talk about. And whether you're watching on replay as well, you can get involved. We've got players inside the club. Coutinho news, Asensio news, Ross Barkley news to bring you. But of course, the transfer rumour, the transfer mill is madness. We've got En-Nesyri, we've got a Sverre Nypan update, and of course, yeah, let's get into this. There's also a bit of an interesting market opportunity, we like to call it, in terms of Kim. So we'll get into it, but up the Villa, up the AVFTS clan. Big up to each and every single one of you here locked in. We've gone a little bit later tonight on the live, just jumped out the shower. Heidi's cooking up a lovely chicken curry that we're about to scrant as well. And we had a Starry's football training earlier. So it's all been madness. It's all been good. But we're here. We're live, ready to enjoy the absolute chat that is all things Aston Villa. So as I said, let's get into the first story. And we're going to start with the thumbnail. We're going to start with the most important thing to me, a potential striker. Now, it has been clear that Villa have been linked with striker after striker after striker. We've had young prospects and we've had more established ones, from names such as Ferran Torres and Dusan Vlahovic to now, the more inexperienced strikers. And I keep saying this, Aston Villa basically need to lock in a striker who's going to either come in and be a number one, and therefore Ollie Watkins is departing, or you go for that backup striker, someone who's willing to learn the trade and wait their turn and basically do what John Duran did, was burst onto the scene when ready. But this striker in En-Nesyri is something that I absolutely have to say. I like it, and I like it a lot. This guy is a very good goal scorer on the biggest stages, loves the Europa League, loves playing as that goal scorer, the main bagsman. And have a look at this then, people. And I want to know your thoughts on this one. Aston Villa are interested in Fenerbahçe striker Youssef En-Nesyri. He is reportedly looking to leave the Turkish club, and Villa are preparing a 20 million offer for the Moroccan international. Now, let's get this straight. En-Nesyri is basically a striker who moved to Fenerbahçe only just this season. Any bonuses in the chat right now who can tell me who Fenerbahçe's manager is? Of course, a very interesting case that what is Fenerbahçe. But 20 million for a goal scorer, I like it. And I was just waiting for Meeks' old slander of Ollie Watkins, and it's coming right at the time. Is Watkins willing to learn his trade? Well, I'm sure he can learn how to put the ball in the back of the net from old En-Nesyri, because this guy is the real deal. And Jose Mourinho is was this guy's manager, En-Nesyri. And Mourinho has had an interesting time in Turkey, to say the least. Now, let's go to the source, by the way. First of all, we always like to check out the source. Photo Mac, who is a number one, if you want to have it translated, I will for you. It is Turkey's number one sports website. Nearly 1 million followers. It's up to date with Turkish news. And I'm going to be honest, these type of websites are very hot on Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe news, which is obviously where En-Nesyri comes from. Now we're looking at it and going, right, what do we know about this guy? Why is this an interesting one? Why is this an exciting one? Well, let me tell you this guy knows where the back of the net is. Now, one of the biggest criticisms of Ollie Watkins has always been his consistency of level of finishing. And I will always come back and say, look at Ollie's GA overall, look at Ollie's impact. But when you talk about a striker and potential options, En-Nesyri definitely is something I like the look of. Now, let me know in the chat as well. Here's a bit of a trivia while we're trying to get the stats up. Tell me some of En-Nesyri's former clubs, because as I said, this guy's made headlines in Europa League competitions, in Champions League competitions, and loves the absolute back of the net, always. In fact, I remember it clearly, a very good brace that he scored against Manchester United in a certain European competition. This guy, for me, every time I watch him, he's a bagsman, and I'm all up for a bagsman. And I think it's something that people say, it's what we need. It's what we need. James has said, who's the scapegoat going to be if a new forward doesn't hit Ollie's numbers? Well, that is a very great and interesting point. We do like to have a bit of a scapegoat. We do like to have potentially someone that we have to sort of cast our eye on. But have a look at these En-Nesyri stats. here we go. Moroccan international, 28 years old. Okay. Fenerbahçe this season, 34 games, 20 goals, 4 assists in a Jose Mourinho style team. Remember that. A Jose Mourinho team who does play what you could say as a native football. 34 matches, 20 goals, 4 assists. People, let me know your thoughts on that. Second of all, the Turkish Cup, 4 games, 4 goals. Europa League, 12 matches, 6 goals. You're absolutely looking at someone who knows where the back of the net is. And I'm going to keep saying that phrase because this is what we're paying for. If you're going for En-Nesyri, you're going for someone who is absolutely a bagsman, a marksman, and someone you absolutely want in your front line. Not only that, he's obviously a Moroccan international. I'm just broken on to the sort of the Moroccan scene, and maybe not as great for Morocco. But the one season that stood out for me was his season in Sevilla before he went to Fenerbahçe. And this is where he was linked to a lot of Premier League teams. If you look at this, in 23-24 season again, for Sevilla, 33 matches, 16 goals, 2 assists. But yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what he does in front of goal and those numbers and great returns. And of course, if you're looking at his assists, it's not there. You know, he's had a few off seasons, but then again in 2021, 38 games, 18 goals. When this guy cooks and his team is good, he finds the back of the net. But I want to go back to it. He loves the Europa League. Again, look at his summer in the Europa League. Knows the European corner, knows the European continent. And really, for me, it is an absolute no-brainer on En-Nesyri. Why? Well, if that rumoured price tag is right, reported by the Turkish outlet of 20 million, I think we'd be absolutely dumbfounded not to throw that sort of money on a striker like that. 20 million? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. But yeah, big up to the Ollie lovers in chat. You're absolutely, I'm still way in that. For me, I'm all about Ollie Watkins still staying at Aston Villa, still leading the line for Aston Villa, and still being that main guy. There is no other option for me but Ollie Watkins. But if we could get an En-Nesyri in that type of profile, then we're absolutely laughing. We're absolutely dreaming. And we absolutely then have 2 great strikers. I don't think Aston Villa can go into another season like we lost with John Duran, where we go with one number 9 and then we're sort of thinking, are we going to try a winger up there? You know, there's reports that someone said in the chat, oh, let's try Daniel Marlon up there. Is Marlon really a 9? We tried Marcus Rashford up there. But I'm saying it's all about the price tag for me, 20 million. So there we go. Kevin says, why, if we are after a striker, don't we ever go for a Premier League proven striker? Visa at Brentford, surely if we're a serious contender, we should be looking at him. It's a very good point. It's a very good point. And when you talk about Premier League, Manchester United have absolutely sort of embodied that, haven't they? Manchester United have completely changed their transfer dynamic this window. They haven't gone looking abroad. They haven't gone looking in Europe. Do you know what they've done? Do you know what they've done? They've gone and looked at Cunha at Wolves, and they've gone and looked at Brian Mbeumo at Brentford. 2 great wide men forwards, whatever you want to label them as, but they've done the business in the Premier League. So I think Kevin makes a brilliant point, a fantastic point, in fact, of why is it we don't seem to go and poach from other Premier League clubs? Liam Delap from Chelsea, another one. It's all very interesting. I just want a clinical finisher when it counts. I don't care if Watkins finds the shooting boots or someone else. This is his year, Meek, so I'm going to convert you into Watkins. Will be a brilliant signing, but hope we keep Ollie. His goals will be hard to replace. Exactly, Carl. And you talk sense there, because Ollie's numbers and his GA is astronomical. He continues to do it season after season. He is very consistent. People just want to hold on to that he's not a clinical finisher, which in a way is sort of true. He does have a massive amount of missed chances to his name, and those stats don't lie. But what he does have, for me, is that he scores crucial goals for us. I always find Watkins scores when it's a 0-0. I always find Watkins scores the first goal for Aston Villa, not someone who chips in with the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th goal. I feel like he chips in at the right time. But En-Nesyri for me, get him in, 20 million. I'm all over that. He's only 28 as well, which shocked me. I thought he's about 32, 33. You know, he's got a great record, 80 appearances for Morocco, very, very proven international. I just don't understand how he's available, why he's available, but this guy is, and we're going to make the most of it. So, yeah, that's my 10 pence on En-Nesyri. Let me know if you would love En-Nesyri. Let me know if you see him coming fit at Aston Villa and if it would be a good mix of that. By the way, people keep smashing the like button. We're on the road to 50 likes. Let's keep smashing that like button up, run it up. I'd appreciate it. Probably too much money on the proven Premier League striker. True. And that's what. Have you seen the price reported for Brian Mbeumo from Brentford? Massive money that Man United are going to fork out. And with Cunha. A clinical finish is all well and good, but you need that all-round game as well when you're not a Man City or something. Exactly. Yeah, that's a great point, Michael. And how are Man United able to spend like that when they apparently have PSR issues? No, it's true. Man United have always found a way because their revenue with game receipts, with their advertisement, it's always going to generate more money than Villa. And it annoys me. It annoys me how Man United can finish in the position they did and still attract players who don't want Champions League football, European football, who basically they are in like £1 billion debt or something like that. Someone said Manchester United is madness, and yet they still can recruit players. Horrible, but that's a whole different rant. So let's get on to the next story then. And look, there's so much, as I said, information that comes through on these days that we have to just sort of filter through it. Also, I don't know if anyone's seen the. I don't know if you've seen the news about Crystal Palace as well, which I'm going to touch on. Now, this one is not as strong as a link because of the transfer source, but this is absolutely important for commercial. This is the type of player I am calling out for Aston Villa to globalise on. And all you need to do is realise the impact of such players at other clubs. Aston Villa are one of the sides to have made contact or registered interest in signing, that's a typo, in signing Lee Kang-in from PSG. Okay, let's talk. This guy, again, is a player that I have monitored and watched quite closely. He's always involved in transfer rumours and mills. But the reason why we need a player like Kim Jang-in is very clear for me. It's very clear for me. The reason why we need a player like him is because of the commercial. Sorry, not Kim. Lee Kang-in. Sorry, that's my bad. It's because I was thinking of someone else there. Lee Kang-in is a player that Villa need because of the commercial revenue that he brings in. Look at Matoma. Look at Heung-min Son. Look at what Matoma does for Brighton. And you only need to see the absolute Japanese following for Matoma. And look at Luke Link's Brighton. Big up to Luke Link's. Every time Matoma scores, his vlogs go through the roof on numbers. The pool that he has, it's crazy. But look, he again is a attacking midfielder or winger. He's been very frustrated at his playing time and is known for his dribbling skills and how good he is. Now, he is allowed to leave, and there's lots of comments that are going through there. Him and Goncalo Ramos are allowed to leave PSG after just winning the Champions League. They didn't feature. Napoli want to sign him. Napoli are interested in Lee Kang-in as well. But look, he is one of the compatriots, along with fun fact Park Ji-sung, only two of the Asian players to ever win the Champions League. But Villa are going to be in a battle with players, teams such as Napoli. Okay. And as Carol Simmons said, I think am I saying it right? Is it Carl or Carol? But appreciate the comments. He said, we've been linked with him before he went PSG. It's true. But commercially, this guy is going to blow us up in Asia. This guy is going to absolutely blow us up in Asia, which increases our revenue, which increases the shirt sales, which increases merchandise, which increases fans to come over. It really has that impact. It really does have that globalization, commercialization. Now, in terms of the quality of Lee Kang-in, it's frustrating because we haven't been able to see him play much. And it's been a struggle for him at PSG. It's not gone down well. It hasn't gone down well. And in fact, Kvaratskhelia came in and sort of took his place. That's the best way to sort of say it. Kvaratskhelia came in and sort of dismantled Kang-in. Lee Kang-in. I'm sorry that I keep butchering it. But yeah, there we go. So here's his contract situation. Sorry, let me get rid of that one. It's the other one. Here's his contract situation, Lee Kang-in. I'm all for it, people. I'm all for this type of player for the reason I've just listed. But I think there's also a little bit of a baller in here. 24 years old, okay? Contract expires in 2028, so the price would be interesting. Again, I'll make this clear. Napoli are also linked to him. A right winger, 36 career appearances for South Korea, 9 goals. Loves a goal. But this is him this season. In the Champions League, it's all about game time. And you're looking at a player who been starved of minutes. That's in the Champions League. Only 11 appearances, no goals, no assists, but only 30% of that is player minutes. Shocking returns. Shocking returns. You go to the league, 30 appearances, only half of them he was in the starting 11. So basically 16 appearances in the starting 11, of which, again, minutes-wise, only 54%, but 6 goals, 6 assists. It's one of those players, out of 34 possible games, he's featured, but hardly in the starting lineup. And that's an interesting one for me. Is this the type of player, a right winger, by the way, and let's lock on this, that Aston Villa will be probably selling Leon Bailey, and we need to upgrade in the right wing position. Favourite position is right winger, but also can play centrally. Is this the type of player, Lee Kang-in, that Villa should be going for? Let me know if you've watched him play. As Corral said, we've been linked with him before, which is absolutely true. And just to show again his trajectory in his career, as I said, 24 years old, there was massive hope for this guy. He was at Mallorca, I believe. And where is it? Yeah, he was at Mallorca. So he started at Valencia, went to Mallorca, which was unbelievable. And then from Mallorca, had two seasons at Mallorca, boomed it, and PSG paid 22 million. I think they'll be looking to get that sort of money back. I think we can get Lee Kang-in for around 20 million. And I think, again, we're looking at a forward player. We've just been linked with Youssef En-Nesyri, 20 million. We've just been linked again with Lee Kang-in, 20 million. So I think there's a player there, and it's one that I quite like. I quite like this idea because of the fact he's known for his dribbling ability. He's a ball carrier, which Unai Emery likes. Because his favourite position is on the right wing, a position I think Villa need filling. But finally, for me, I'll go on it about it again. It's about time we signed someone from that Asian market to get that fan base in, to have this badge around Asia, to be able to have these Asian tours, to be able to bring in. Just look at when Tottenham play, the amount of South Koreans that you see, South Korean flags. But yeah, there we go. Kang has been overtook by Dembele. Not much you can do about that, to be honest. And Kvaratskhelia as well, as Michael said. Not many in the world that would get ahead of Kvaratskhelia. So both Kevin and Michael are right. James said, can't much player to get in the PSG team. They are the PSG. They just won the Champions League. But yeah, he couldn't get in. That front three for PSG, by the way, damn. If you watched that Champions League final, we did a watch along for it. Doué, Dembele, and Kvaratskhelia. The fact that Villa nearly knocked those jokers out is unbelievable. I shouldn't call them jokers. I should put respect on them. The fact that Doué, Kvaratskhelia, and Dembele is a front three, the blistering pace it had. And then what scared me is they actually could bring on Bradley Barcola off the bench. They could bring on Zakiri Emery. It's an unbelievable PSG attack. It's a very, very strong PSG attack. So the fact that this guy can't get in PSG's team, I don't think it's about him itself. I think it's just the quality that PSG had. So there we go. But yeah, Spicy is in the chat. I'm with you, Josh. I'm all about Ollie. Has consistently given us 15 plus G over the last few seasons. Very important to us. Alan Evans says it's okay if United spend Howard spent 600 million. We have to sell to buy and still finish in front of them because we've got the best manager in Unai Emery. Look, it is about selling, and that is another whole moan in itself about how we compete. But there we go. Yeah, exactly that. Rub peas on it. And Kevin says foreign strikers are unnecessary gamble unless you're going super elite. But even that's not guaranteed success. It's my logic. Go after Premier League proven forwards. Look, just a quick one. On forwards. think it's something I alluded to yesterday on the stream. It absolutely baffled me that John Duran was our third top goal scorer this season with 7 goals. John Duran, he played half a season for us and had to sit on the bench behind Ollie Watkins for most of the season as well. 7 goals, John Duran was our third top goal scorer. Villa really need more goals in that forward department. I think if you look at our goal difference this season, it's a very telling sign. We need to add goals. And what I find interesting is if you think of the 2 main strikers that people are talking about in today's market, Sesko and Gyökeres. Arsenal, Sesko, Man United, Gyökeres, maybe Gyökeres elsewhere. But when you think about it, how hard is it to find a very elite number 9 these days? I think it's hard. And when you start to look at Ollie Watkins in isolation and his goals and what he brings, as well as the fact, he is up there for me in terms of a really valuable number 9. But the players that I've talked about in the likes of En-Nesyri and Ferran Torres, they're good 9 options. And even Dusan Vlahovic, they're good 9 options, but they're not quite that elite one. And I think sometimes you have to settle with either going with a proven number 9 and going with that, or you take a bit of a risk and find a risk out there. We're bugging, I think. Desperately need that Champions League football. We gamble. Yeah, I keep saying that. And people might get bored of me, but I don't think people have really taken in the fact that squandering Champions League is changing the whole narrative. I'm sure he can kick it. He is. Yes, Meeks, love it. I thought England. Big up to the creator. Napoli looking at Kang. Exactly. We're competing with Napoli, which, to be honest, again, Napoli winning Serie A, Napoli with Antonio Conte, Napoli bringing in Kevin De Bruyne. It's pretty hard to compete with Napoli right now. It is pretty hard to compete with Napoli. That PSG attack is just unreal. They're all on the same wavelength. It's electric. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to say this now. Everyone talks about one of the greatest sort of counter-attacking flying attacks being Mane, Salah, Firmino. I think that PSG attack, Doué, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, if it stays at the consistency levels, it might be seen as one of the deadliest attacks up there, because I'm not joking, the way those guys break and make it look so easy. Desiree Doué, at 19 I think he turns 20 today, actually. At 20 years old, this absolute baller, this Doué. There. Duran was a better goal scorer, mate. It was obvious. I understand that others wanted to see him, but if he can't finish, what's the point? Duran is a lethal finisher, and as Meeks is trying to say, Watkins could be seen as a 10. Let's see. I will. Do you know what? I will be honest, chat. I will be keeping a very close eye on John Duran's career. I want to see where he goes after Saudi, because he ain't finishing his career there. He's there for a few years. When he comes back to Europe, let's see how John Duran does. But in terms of natural finishing abilities, there. In terms of natural game, I'm not sure. Very hard to find an elite 9 now. Have you seen this Duran guy? There we go. Very rare. But yeah. Napoli are just great kits as well. Let's see. Didn't we bring in Tillemans, Pound, Diaby about Champions League? True. James makes a good point there. And England on Virgil White. 7 runs needed. Big up Black Country Villa as well. But yeah, Duran never got a proper run in. That's facts. We can't beat around the bush on that one. Indeed. But yeah, chat, keep running the likes up. We're going for 50 likes on the stream. We are close to hitting that target. So run them up for me. I appreciate that. And thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Do subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 15k. And I've been loving these streams. Right. And Villa news. Let's keep boshing through everything to go through. I'm not going to talk about the tickets and stuff. I'm not see that. Right. Interesting little report here from Jacob Tanswell, if you haven't seen it. Again, Jacob Tanswell writes specifically for the Midlands and has good Villa links for Athletic. He says the following. No formal interest. Again, this is this Emi Martinez situation. No formal interest in Emi Martinez yet. Feeling is a reluctance to go to Saudi. I'm actually glad I'm hearing that. I'm actually glad that I'm hearing Emi Martinez is reluctant to go to Saudi. And few goalkeeper gaps at Europe's best club. So a lot needs to happen. Now, again, I'm going to put this out there. Every day I'm getting confused whether Emi Martinez is staying or going, chat. I'm like, is he staying? Is he going? Is he staying or is he going? I've got no idea. But you see reports like that, and he said, oh, there's a few gaps in Europe and he doesn't want to go to Saudi. So maybe, just maybe, Emmy stays. I'm back to Emmy staying. So, when I see reports like that, I know some of you have been very consistent in the chat saying he ain't leaving, Josh. Maybe you're right. Enzo Barrenechea trapped an interest. As we said, he's going to Fiorentina, and Leon Bailey's Saudi suitors, other than Leon. More on AVFC deal sheet. And when you go into the article, which I will go into, it expresses, I need to get the account thing. I'll sort that later with the Athletic. But basically, it tries to sum up Villa's doings and don'ts and what's going to happen. And it's the same old news. It's the same old sort of news and situation with our key players, isn't it? It's the same with Emi Martinez. It's the same with Enzo Barrenechea, and it's the same with Leon Bailey. I think they're the three buzz names right now in terms of Villa. I think those are the three buzzwords for Aston Villa outgoings: Emi, Enzo, Leon. Emi, Enzo, Leon. Sounds like that was a car sort of brand there I was making. Martinez chat went quiet when we knew we'd missed out on the Espanol lad. I'm going to come on that in a second. You've linked in well. You have linked in well. But yeah, it's the goalkeeper situation is really looking bleak. And it's reminded me. It's reminded me basically that goalkeepers is such a specific generic position to fill that it's so hard to find someone of good quality and good caliber. And I will be honest with you, some of these goalkeepers that we've been linked to, it's just not tickling my taste buds, and I don't like it. So instead of going all over the place, let's go to this one. Right. We were linked to this goalkeeper 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know if you'll remember this. Walter Benitez on verge of Premier League move. Argentina's TYC report keeper in advanced talks. 32-year-old is free agent after PSV expiry. Currently with Argentinian national team. The major Premier League club is unknown. So who is it? Is this Villa's mystery goalkeeper on a free agent? By the way, let's be honest here. We absolutely love a free agent. We've got Yuri, we've got Kamara, we've just got Redmond on a free. We are the free agent merchants. We love a free agent. This absolutely screams of Aston Villa goalkeeper, even if he comes in as our number two. But I like it. Another Argentinian. Villa love the Argentinian links as well. So Walter Benitez, hold tight on this one. Hold tight on this one. He was a Golden Glove winner a couple of seasons ago. He's an excellent goalkeeper, loads of Premier experience, and we're desperate to leave Saints. Oh, are you on about Ramsdale? I thought you were on about Walter then for a second. So Martinez had the worst goalkeeper disciplinary record in the league. Got to, I'd say. 100%. Bruno Stenat Man U. Yeah, that is true. I saw that as well. Okay, so there's one goalkeeper situation in Walter. And big up to everyone. Nearly 80 of you in the chat tonight. I love it. Thank you so much for the support, as always. So, where is the Chevalier update? Joan Garcia and Lucas Chevalier, the names on the tip of everyone's tongues, because they are there. Yeah, so, here, this story here. It seems that Joan Garcia is going to Barcelona. The deal will affect us in two ways. One, it takes an option off the table of a potential club to sign Emi Martinez, because Barcelona, we thought maybe he could go there. Two, it takes an option off the table for us to replace Emi Martinez. An interesting summer ahead. And this, again, the way they're talking is Emi is definitely leaving. We don't know that for sure, but Joan Garcia to Barcelona is an interesting one. And yeah, it does take out an Emi option and whether we go for that. Again, another Spanish goalkeeper here. Goalkeepers are the words. It is Real Sociedad goalkeeper Alex Romero. I know that Barcelona and Aston Villa have been following me, but they aren't the only two teams that have been following me or watching me. Okay, well, we know Barca aren't signing you because they're going for Joan Garcia. So, Villa, Alex Romero, another goalkeeper's name thrown in there. And this is what I mean. You get these goalkeepers, these Spanish goalkeepers, or Lucas Chevalier. I'll be honest, they're not household names. The Real Sociedad goalkeeper is not a household name, is he? But we'll see what happens on that one. We'll see what happens on that one. Okay. So that's the goalkeeper situation. Still none the wiser. Still very unclear. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Okay. Let's get into the Sverre Nypan situation. This one is annoying me. Can't wait for Fire's first pen, and Bruno kicks off. That'll be fun, won't it? And people like Chevalier, the Lille keeper. He has been brilliant. He has been amazing. Olsen's gone, so we need a number 2 anyway. Are we all getting this wrong about Emery? Potentially Kevin. But as I said, Walter, the Argentinian goalkeeper, maybe he's coming to us on a free. So let's see what happens. We'll end up with the Spanish national team in a couple of seasons. Oh, God, that means Pau Torres is staying with us forever. That's not good. But yeah, Daniel Shawn, who hasn't been here for a while, welcome in, my friend, and welcome in. Right, Sverre Nypan. Let's get into the crunch of this, because this situation is getting beyond a joke when it comes to Sverre Nypan. Absolute joke. Are you signing for us or not? That's all I want to know. So, presentations have been shown to Nypan and the family outlining plans to integrate him into Emery's setup. So as an 18-year-old, we're blending him in. He's not going to start straight away, but we're going to blend him in. Despite protracted conversations, no agreement has been reached. So as I reported in a video I made the other day, it seems that we are doing everything. We're twerking at this guy. We're telling him, come on, come sign for us. We've got you. We know what we're doing. Come and do this. Come and do that. But again, it seems that reported by Jacob Tanswell in a bit more detail, and he sums it up here. He says this: severe doubts over Sverre Nypan. Aston Villa have been confident of agreement, and lots of work went into convincing player and family. But delays from player side has caused doubt. So it's not actually us. And we're going to talk about Coutinho. And also that extra bit. The UEFA sanctions are more issued than a PSR. Damn. Sverre Nypan, we have been working for months on this guy, presenting him the project, making sure he understands his part to play in Aston Villa, personal meetings, family meetings, making sure we can get the agreement, and this guy's going to reject us. And I'll say this now, if it's because we didn't get Champions League football, that's going to absolutely break my heart. This guy is a Norwegian wonder kid, and I just want you to know this guy is the real deal. He's better than Odegaard. He's going to be better than Odegaard. He's going to have a massive career, and we have been scouting him, and we're going to take him off Rosenborg. But if it's on his side, we can't do anything about it. If the player doesn't fancy our project, then what are we doing out here? However, we shall see. We've put a lot of work in. Can we get it over the line? I don't know. Let's go to some positive news, because that one is a little bit of a downer. Let's go on to the positive news, shall we? Let's go on to the positive news. But yeah, let's see what's happening. Daniel Shawn said, I was a member for like 14 months, then my car got fraud and lost all subscriptions, so I just never came onto your streams anymore. Well, big up, Daniel. We still run the memberships. If you want to become a member still, then that option is still there and available. And that goes to anyone else in the chat. If you do enjoy these type of streams and you want to be a member, I will, in fact, help you out. And I'll even put the old membership link in the stream for you guys now. But let's talk about some positive news. Philippe Coutinho. Philippe Coutinho. The man in which Gerrard basically thought, I've got an idea, let's bring Coutinho. And he had an incredible couple of months for us, and then it literally turned to dust. It was terrible. It was the worst. And Coutinho's been nothing but a disaster. Here is the membership link. I'm going to put that in the chat there. I'll pin that for us. There we go. But yeah, listen, Coutinho. It seems that we finally are getting rid of him. Philippe Coutinho is set to have his Aston Villa contract terminated so he can go sign permanently for Vasco da Gama and then essentially go live a happy life in Brazil. This one is massive because of the wages. Not about the fee, but we are slicing that wage bill up. Remember, the reported suggested fees of Aston Villa have a 90% wage bill of revenue. Coutinho would have been contributing to that. I don't know how much Vasco da Gama were paying of his wages, but it's massive. It's absolutely massive, chat. So Philippe Coutinho is set to have his Villa contract terminated. Have I got a smile on my face? Hell yeah, because that's been deadwood. But look, Coutinho, we appreciate the memories. You scored some screamers under Gerrard, but we're past that now. Nypan is another João Felix. Hope not, Matthew. Far too many mistakes, says AVFC. And yeah, welcome back, Daniel. Indeed. Garcia would be my first choice, but we've got no chance to pick Barca. Yeah, he's gone to Barca, which is weird. He does play for Espanyol, who are their biggest rivals. So there we go. Good evening to Craw, a member for 29 months, one of our own. And as I said, guys, I'll put the members as the pinned comment. If you want to get a membership, then link that up and become a member. But yeah, big up Craw. Love that. Was Nypan any good anyway? At 18 years old, he broke into the Rosenborg first team, has done really well. Trust me, this guy's going to be a baller. And as Meeks said, only half have liked the stream. Run it up, chat. Run it up. 75 likes. Let's hit it. So there we go. My new player midfielder, Kamari Science, big up to Luke. I hope you're well. I thought that was a good bit of transfer news coming in, but it's not. But yeah, never seen such a drop-off as Coutinho. Brilliant start, signed a contract and disappeared completely. Horrific. And the injury curse came upon him, and that ruined us, didn't it? So there you go. But yeah, let's be real here. Coutinho, we'll shake your hand. We'll say thank you for your couple of months, but you've cost us a lot of money on the wages. It's ta-da. Next story. This one just seems like it's going to happen, right? Marco Asensio to Villa just seems like it's going to happen. Marco Asensio is open to staying at Aston Villa permanently. Villa in talks with PSG, and Unai Emery has made signing him a priority. Look, I'm gonna again, it's sort of similar stories. I will touch on this quickly, as I always will. With Asensio, I like it, but I also don't want it to hinder Morgan Rogers. And I think the biggest factor, you ask any Villa fan what was one of the most frustrating things in terms of Morgan Rogers this season, it was seeing him stuck on that right-hand side, out of position, not doing his thing because of Asensio. Asensio scored some really key goals for us at the start, but he did tail off. And I think ever since that Southampton game where we missed 2 penalties, we just haven't seen him since. He just hasn't emerged and hasn't been that guy. So, look, Asensio on a permanent, if the price is right, which the rumoured fee was 15 million, 15 that is, not 50, and the wages are okay, then you've got my ear. But if the wages are taking the piss, then it's a no from me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Has Asensio basically hindered our guy, Morgan Rogers? That's what I want your thoughts on. A bit more Villa news, and then I'm going to quickly go to the Crystal Palace situation before we conclude, which is a really weird one. 2 other Villa pieces of news. Right, Unai Emery and Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley are one of our early cheap signings in the summer transfer window of last season. There's something about Ross Barkley I quite like as well. When I see Ross Barkley play, I think there's a player who has a forward eye for a pass, seems to always increase the tempo, seems to want to impress, and has scored some key goals this season. Unai and Ross Barkley. For next season, I want the best of him. I believe in him, in his performances, and how he can help us, like he has. He scored 3, 4, 5 goals this season. He contributed a lot and was adapting to us, improving progressively. I think there is a player there in Ross Barkley. And I think Unai knows that there is this rough diamond, this gem, and the type of player he likes, a ball carrier, a forward-thinking player, and someone in transaction. I think Ross Barkley didn't get enough minutes in the back end of the season. I will be honest. I think Ross Barkley was robbed of minutes. He kept getting 10 minutes here and there instead of maybe half an hour's. And it goes back to our midfield, where we have Kamara, where we have Tielemans. We have that double pivot, and it's very hard to get in front of those two unless Barkley plays in the 10. But I think Ross Barkley is a player we should not be looking to move on. We should be keeping, and we should be integrating into the first team more. I think we're forgetting the profile of this player, an England international, a wonder kid at Everton. Failed move, I know, at Chelsea, but there's a talent there. I really hope Ross Barkley stays injury-free next season and we get to see a bit more of him. So there we go. Barkley hasn't had a bad game for us. Mr. Consistent and a leader agreed. Personally, it's a massive no for me. He goes missing. Morgan's totally weighted right. Oh, this is Asensio. Big up to Super Matty. He said, in terms of Asensio, it's a massive no. He goes missing and Morgan's totally wasted on the right or any other position than 10. And that's my point. If we are hindering the development of our best player, then what are we doing? And unless Asensio comes back next season and hits 15 to 20 GA, no, 20 is too much, 15 GA, then I'm looking at going, that's a good purchase. I just think Asensio out of possession is horrible. And I think what Super Matty is trying to say is if you watch Asensio in person, when he's having a bad game and you're at the stadium, you'll really notice it. You'll really notice what he's doing, not doing enough off the ball. I like Barkley, wears his heart in his sleeve, and there's a player in there. Agree, Matthew. And too injury-prone Barkley. Has everyone lost their memories? He did the same first time around when we had Grealish. It's true. But we're not going to be able to sell Barkley for any good money. So we may as well try and nurture him and get something out of him and keep him fit. Okay, the final piece of Villa news, and then I'm going to talk on the Crystal Palace situation. Because this is becoming more and more common in football clubs. But finally, Emiliano Buendia, Emi Buendia. I'm told he's open to the Leeds move. Daniel Farke knows him and he trusts Farke. Leeds want this number 10 and they have options. They really like Hamer too and have done work on Salah. But at this point, I think Buendia is most likely. Buendia to Leeds has been something we saw in January, but he went to Bayer Leverkusen. We know that Bayer Leverkusen have rejected the idea to bring Buendia back. So we're looking to move Buendia on. Leeds United, a promoted club under a manager that he's played under before, it's a no-brainer. If we can get 15 to 20 mil for Buendia, we're laughing. Now, there'll be people again in the chat going, oh, Buendia, we should give him a chance. He didn't get a fair opportunity. I'll say it again. It's a bit like Asensio. Buendia, for me, has his moments, has his flair, has his ability, has his passion. And we saw a little bit of that before he went on loan. But what Buendia isn't is he's not that next level. He's not a Champions League caliber player. He's not someone who's going to put you in a top 4 position. He's a good mid-table Premier League player, but Villa are past that now. We have better options, and I think it's time for him to avoid them. McGinn's contract runs out in 2027, so he could be going next season if we are to sell McGinn. 100% keep Barkley. I think he's got better evadance, pace slightly going. He played deeper for Luton, was fantastic. That's the club, Luton, where he rejuvenated his career. I like Barkley deeper because I think he picks up the ball and speeds up the tempo when Villa knock it around too slowly. Lee Sever says, En-Nesyri is class, 30 goals, 7 assists, enough to chick keepers on one-on-ones. Get him in. Get him in. But yeah, in all seriousness, with Buendia, I just think that he will be going. I think there's no future for him. If you get loaned out in January and we're still getting rumours about him, I think you're going. But he's moved on. He's played well at Bayer Leverkusen. I wish Emi Buendia all the best, and I hope he absolutely storms it, but not against Villa. I hope he has a shitter against us. Okay, final piece of news, and then I'm going to go scram my curry. Okay, this is a really interesting situation. Don't know if you've seen this news, but here it is. Crystal Palace could be kicked out of European competitions due to a multi-club ownership with Lyon. Nottingham Forest could enter the Europa League instead, and then Brighton get the Conference League. Lyon are not in danger due to finishing higher in domestic than Crystal Palace, which is mad. That's how they've done that. So Crystal Palace general partners will meet with Europa's representatives today to try and resolve this issue. Eagle Football Holdings, which is controlled by American businessman John Textor, owns both. He owns 88% of Lyon and 43% of Crystal Palace. I also think this guy's got a bit of a stake in someone else in the Premier League. I can't think who. Crazy. And I also saw that Crystal Palace cannot drop into the Conference League because this John Textor guy has a share in a club called Go Ahead Eagles. Imagine if Crystal Palace miss out on European football because of this stupid rule. They'll just give out a percentage of the ownership like City did. I'm sure that will happen as well, Michael. But it's becoming a bit of a farce, this that you can't have two clubs from different nations, multi-club ownership. Why is that? Why can't you have multi-club ownership? Why can't... There's going to be no... I don't get it. I just don't think that a club from France and a club from England can collude together with their ownership and impact results. But I also do see the other side of it, where there is that possibility. And any site of corruption, any site of match fixing, any sort of shout is there if you look into it. So it's a match fixing, game fixing, and Meek said it could happen. And as soon as you're open to that, you're in the bin. Conflict of interest, exactly that. So I feel bad for Crystal Palace. I hope they can resolve the situation. But I'll be honest, if Crystal Palace drop out of the Europa League, it should increase our chances of winning it. Because as long as we don't get Crystal Palace in the final, we can bloody win the whole thing. So, yeah, madness. So a little bit of news there. But people, I really appreciate all the chat again. You lot have been on fire. And I really appreciate all the comments. We've covered a lot of stories today. I feel like we've absolutely crushed everything we can into there. We've talked about En-Nesyri, we've talked about Sverre Nypan, we've talked about Lee Kang-in, we've gone about Buendia and Barkley, the goalkeeper situation, all that jazz. Coutinho's contract gone. Up the Villa is all I can say. I'm exhausted. I feel like I've put a lot of energy into that. I actually feel exhausted. Don't feel like I breathed once. So I am going to wrap up now. Thank you to everyone who has liked the show. Big up to everyone who's subscribed. Big up to everyone who has commented. I really do appreciate it. And if you've just been a silent listener as well, then big up to you guys. You're just as important as always. So what day is it tomorrow? Wednesday. We'll see what tomorrow brings. As always, I think there's going to be drama in Villa. There isn't ever, is there? You know, it's never a quiet year. It's never a quiet time. And yeah, let's see what happens. But thank you for tuning in. I am going to bow out of here. I'm just seeing if there's anyone. I'll help my guy out, old Wolfie. He's actually covering the Crystal Palace segment now. But yeah, enjoy your career. Thank you, Michael. Michael Huggins from Turkey, and big up to you. Villa 24/7, you're doing a nice job. Appreciate it. We're going to bring these daily shows. Make sure you get your notification bell on. Big up to Super Matty. I'm sure he's smashing it. He's skiving at work, or is he having a night off? Who knows? But don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I appreciate everyone in here. Big up to Meeks as well. I'm knackered. I'm absolutely knackered. And on that note, up the bloody Villa. Go tell Wolfie that his club's dusty, or I don't know, just say, I'm going to redirect you. Comment this word in Wolfie's chat. Alliance. I think that's how you spell alliance. Yeah, it is. Comment the word alliance on Wolfie's chat as I redirect you. Comment the word alliance. Big up to you guys. I'm out of here. Up the Villa. Ta-da.